Doechi's anxiety hits different because it doesn't just describe anxiety, it makes you feel it. The pounding beats, the breathless delivery, the way her voice cracks under pressure, it's like she bottled the sensation of a panic attack and turned it into art. But there's more going on beneath the surface. This track is a raw, unfiltered dive into mental health, systemic fear, and the exhausting performance of holding it all together. Hi, I'm BMRJR. Let's break it down. Why does this song sting so deep? Stick around because we're unpacking every layer. The refrain captures the constant, oppressive presence of anxiety in her life. She personifies anxiety as something that actively tries her, testing her patience and resilience. The line, anxiety, keep on trying me, suggests an ongoing battle. Anxiety isn't just a fleeting feeling, but a relentless force that won't leave her alone. This mirrors how real life anxiety often feels like an unwelcome companion that won't go away, no matter how hard someone tries to ignore or fight it. The next line, I feel it quietly, trying to silence me, highlights how anxiety doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it creeps in subtly, making a person doubt themselves or feel small. The idea of anxiety silencing her could mean it stifles her voice, her confidence, or even her ability to express herself. A common experience for those who struggle with anxiety. It's not just nervousness, it's something that can feel like it's suffocating or controlling a person from the inside. When she sings, my anxiety can't shake it off of me. It emphasizes how sticky and persistent anxiety can be. No matter how much she tries to shake it off, it clings to her almost like a shadow. This line reflects the frustration of dealing with anxiety, wanting to be free of it but feeling trapped by its grip. The repetition of "somebody's watching me" adds another layer, suggesting paranoia or the feeling of being judged. Anxiety often makes people hyper aware of others' perceptions, as if they're constantly under scrutiny, even when they're not. Verse 1 uses sharp, fragmented wordplay to convey a sense of instability and inner conflict. The opening lines, solo, no mojo, I bounce back, no pogo, suggests a struggle with self confidence and resilience. Solo implies independence, but no mojo undercuts it, meaning she feels drained of her usual energy or charm. The idea of bouncing back, no pogo, referencing a pogo stick, hints at forced resilience. She's recovering, but not effortlessly. It's a raw admission that even when she pushes forward, it doesn't always feel natural or easy. The next lines, unhappy, no homo, new brands, no logos, play with contradictions. No homo is slang often used to clarify no offense is meant, but here it might also suggest she's unhappy in a way that's hard to define, not tied to any one thing. No logos. The mention of new brands could symbolize reinvention or masking her struggles, yet the absence of logos, recognizable identities, implies a lack of authenticity or belonging. This ties back to anxiety, feeling disconnected even when trying to present a new version of yourself. The following bars shift to themes of survival and pressure. Money on my jugular, natural hustler, think I need a smuggler up in Russia. The jugular, a vital vein, suggests life or death stakes. Money isn't just a want, but a need that feels suffocating. Calling herself a natural hustler acknowledges her grind, but the mention of needing a smuggler, someone who operates in shadows, implies desperation or a need to escape unseen forces. Russia, often stereotyped as a place of espionage and danger, amplifies the sense of being trapped in a high stakes game. The verse then takes a sudden turn with, "You could be my butler, shine my cutler, shout out to Allende, that's the guzzler." Here, doechii flips between dominance, having someone serve her, and camaraderie, shouting out a friend, possibly Allende, a fellow artist. Guzzler could mean someone who drinks heavily, drowning stress, or consumes life voraciously. This whiplash between control and chaos mirrors how anxiety can make someone oscillate between feeling powerful and utterly overwhelmed. The closing lines, "Okay, next thing, my life is a wet dream. I call it a sex scene. The back is a nice tease." Use sexual metaphors to describe her life as something alluring yet performative. A wet dream is raw and unfiltered, but a sex scene is staged, and a sex tape is exposed yet edited. Only get one take. This duality reflects how anxiety can make life feel like a performance, simultaneously real and artificial, with no room for mistakes. The reference to one take suggests pressure to be perfect, knowing there's no do over, which is a crushing weight for anyone, especially under the gaze of anxiety. The chorus is a hypnotic, repetitive plea that mirrors the cyclical and inescapable nature of anxiety itself. The way she fragments the word anxiety, chopping it into anxiety, visually and sonically, represents how anxiety doesn't feel whole or complete. It's a looming presence that never fully resolves. The repetition of, "Oh, I feel it tryin," reinforces the exhausting back and forth of living with anxiety. It's always there, always pushing, always testing her limits. The phrase, "keep it tryin," suggests resilience, but the wariness in her tone implies that even resistance is draining. The line, "Oh, I feel the silence," is particularly striking because it highlights one of anxiety's cruelest tricks. It's not always loud panic. Sometimes it's a quiet, gnawing dread, a sense of something being off even when everything appears calm. The repetition of "keep it quiet" could be both a command to herself to suppress her anxiety and an observation of how anxiety forces her into silence, making her internalize her fears rather than voice them. Yet the next line, "Oh, somebody's watching me," flips that silence into paranoia. Even in stillness, anxiety makes her feel exposed, as if invisible eyes are judging her every move. This duality, silence versus surveillance, captures how anxiety traps people between isolation and hypervisibility. The layered ad-libs in the later part of the chorus, "It's my anxiety, can't let it conquer me," show a shift from observation to defiance. She acknowledges that anxiety is a part of her, "it's my anxiety," but she refuses to let it win. The battle is ongoing, gotta shake it off of me. But there's determination in her voice. The phrase, "can't let it caution me," is especially interesting. It suggests that while anxiety often serves as a warning system, cautioning against danger, she's fighting not to let it control her actions entirely. It's a subtle nod to how anxiety can be both protective and paralyzing. Verse 2 shifts from the personal chaos of verse 1 to a broader, more ominous reflection on systemic pressures and existential threats, tying them back to her internal struggles with anxiety. The opening line, "Court order from Florida," immediately introduces a sense of legal or authoritative control, possibly referencing surveillance, restrictions, or societal judgment. Florida, often associated with strict laws and a polarized culture, becomes a metaphor for external forces that amplify her anxiety. The phrase, "what's in that clear blue water?" follows, suggesting that even something seemingly pure, clear water might hide unseen dangers, much like how anxiety makes ordinary situations feel treacherous. The next lines, "no limits, no borders, what's in that new world order?" evoke a sense of paranoia about larger, uncontrollable forces at play. The New World Order is a conspiratorial term often linked to fears of oppressive governance, but here it could also represent the overwhelming, boundaryless nature of anxiety itself. Anxiety doesn't respect limits. It invades every thought, just as systemic oppression or societal chaos feels inescapable. The call and response of Marco Polo, a game about searching blindly, mirrors how anxiety feels like fumbling through life, never quite sure of what's lurking nearby. The verse takes a darker turn with "Run from Popo," "that blue light and that rojo." Here, Tochi explicitly ties her anxiety to racialized fear, the terror of being pursued by police, Popo, and the flashing lights of authority, blue light, and danger, rojo, Spanish for red. This isn't just abstract worry. It's the lived anxiety of being black in a world where systemic violence is a constant threat. The wordplay with colors, blue and red, police and alarms, reinforces how inescapable this fear is. It's woven into her environment, triggering her anxiety on a visceral level. The abrupt ending of the verse without resolution mirrors how these systemic and personal fears don't have clean solutions. The interlude that follows, "I get this tightness in my chest, like an elephant is standing on me," physically manifests the weight of these anxieties. It's no longer just mental, it's a suffocating presence crushing her. This ties back to the overarching theme of the song. Anxiety isn't just in her head, it's in her body, her surroundings, and the systems she navigates every day.